What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the GITM podcast, where we cover the true crime, paranormal, and other silliness.
We're here to underwhelm you once again with our lavish bullshit.
Shit.
I ran out of vocabulary.
It happens to the best of us, and I had the stroke. Jesus. No, but tonight, what are we talking about?
We're talking about execution methods throughout history. Not all of them, because I have a feeling there's probably thousands of them.
Great way to talk. Great subject. Talk about offing people.
Well, and everybody wants to give Texas shit for capital punishment. This is not a new thing.
Contrary to popular belief, U.S. did not invent executions.
Yes. Also, update on possible upcoming episodes. I think I'm going to want to do the Menendez brothers sometime soon.
Those douche nuggets?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, why not?
Didn't they kill the parents? Aren't they getting out?
They killed their parents, but they claimed in the home issues, if you will. We need to fire.
Drank a lot of grape juice, apparently.
Yeah.
There was some grape juice consumption.
Yeah, their parents were rappers.
Yes.
With the extra consonants.
Yeah, other than that, I don't know what's going on.
We should get the Patreon going again.
We say that every fucking week.
We actually should.
I'm going to have to remember the password.
And we could easily bust out 30 minutes of very politically incorrect jargon on there.
This is true.
Once a week.
This is true.
We'll just go to the bar for like 2 hours, rip a couple shots right before we leave. So, you do it the responsible way, and you take shots and then drive and make it home before they hit you. Don't do that. Don't drink and drive.
On my way home today, I was going to stop and get us some beverages for this.
You mean some fucking antifreeze?
Yeah, for this, and I
got that 101.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm good tonight.
I was going to get lubed up.
Something tells me that's not the first time you said that to another man.
Probably not. Hey, there's been some drunken stupors. No, but executions. This is a good topic. I found out literally half an hour ago what we were doing.
This is true.
And the death penalty. We know my stance on the death penalty.
You're actually more. I think I'm more pro death penalty than you are.
You are now. 5 years ago.
Oh, before you got into the West Memphis 3?
Kill them all, let God sort them out.
Actually, somebody at work I was talking about that. He's like, I got to go back and listen to that because it was before he started working with me.
Yeah.
The West Memphis 3 episode.
Yeah. I mean,
because I was telling him, and then the conversation came up again, and somebody else at work had watched Paradise Lost, and I was like, hey man, go back and check out those episodes, but also I don't want to say should watch those documentaries, but I was like, they're good documentaries, but be prepared for the first 90 seconds of it.
Skip the first minute and a half.
Yeah, as soon as you hear down, 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 just skip.
Just
as soon as you hear Metallica, as soon as you hear fucking Kirk Hammett, skip. Even though I think that was pre-Kirk Hammett, maybe.
I'm not quite sure, but yeah, go to the bathroom for that.
Yeah, that shit's rough. I'm like Captain True Crime and fucked up shit, and still to this day, the opening credits of that documentary is one of the most difficult things I've ever watched.
It's horrifying.
And I have Twitter.
Yes.
And Reddit.
I don't get on Reddit, so I don't know.
Neither do I.
But the
only time I go on Reddit is if I'm trying to answer a question.
That changed that whole... those episodes we did, that research changed my view on...
Changed the way you were wired?
On the death penalty.
You recircuited your hard drive?
Like I said just a minute ago, 5 years ago, compared to my thoughts on the death penalty, Texas was conservative. I mean, now...
How much did he steal? More than $20? Kill him.
But now do you ever... it's better to let one guilty man go free than killing one innocent man. So in my opinion, you have to be 100% sure. And can you ever truly be 100% sure?
Yeah. I don't know. If you're a multi-time child killer or toucher,
And that is my dilemma.
That's the gray area.
When you start bringing children into it, then
when you start doing the shit the mafia doesn't do,
I revert.
They say they don't do.
I revert back to
kill them all. Back to Metallica.
Ask questions later.
I never thought about that.
What?
How easily you could, like, I always thought it was interesting. Like, I know the connection of Metallica through, what's his name? The one kid from that case.
Damon Eccles?
Yes.
Or no, the other one, the middle.
I think both of them. I think.
Well, they had a connection because...
Not Jesse Miskelly. What is the third one?
Okay.
Jesse Miskelly, Damien Eccles.
And then... Fuck, what's
the one with the mullet?
Yeah. I mean, classic mullet.
Yeah. Like perm-looking mullet. I don't know if it was permed, but it fucking looked like it.
Yeah, but...
And it should be celebrated.
But Metallica... This isn't about the West Memphis 3, we promise. What's up, Gregory?
It's just one of our favorite episodes. It's still one of my favorites because I got you more into a true crime case than I was.
Right. And it's sad, honestly.
But, it's sad in many ways.
But when you... Of course, Metallica is going to be attached to this a little bit.
Because of the shirts and the posters.
Part of the reason they got convicted was the Metallica t-shirts.
Yeah, right. The boy wears a lot of black. He evil. I would be hung in the town square if that was against the law.
This is just a little food for thought here. If part of your evidence against a person or people in a death penalty case is they wore a rock or a heavy metal t-shirt
or had the poster in their room,
you might have a shaky case. Just saying. Baldwin. That's it. Thank you, Gregory.
The fourth Baldwin brother.
I mean, your case might not be that
too
sound.
Or the number when you take count of how many black shirts they have.
Right.
Because again, if that was against the law, like I would be in prison forever.
Especially,
and I don't even spend the money because the shit's expensive on band tees like that. Jesse Baldwin, whatever.
Yes, Jesse Baldwin.
Oh no, it's Jason Baldwin, was it?
I don't know.
Jesse Miskelly.
I think it was Jason and Jesse Miskelly, yes.
But anyway, like, because what would they do to me back then if I was one of those kids? If I was buying band shirts of the bands that I listened to, if I was showing up in like Slipknot being a light one, but if I'm showing up in like fucking Signs of the Swarm shirts and fucking
you committed genocide,
Paleface Swiss shirts and like, you know, on a good day, cattle decapitation or necrotic gore beast. Necrotic gore beast is a very specific time that I listen to them.
And just black attire, black t-shirts. Us fat people need to wear black.
Yes,
it's very slimming.
Yes. If I wear something other than black, I'd like, God damn. And I look fat and black.
Shit.
Especially sitting down. That's why I thought about it. I was like, we should get a standing desk for this show. Because my gravity pulls a lot of my flaws and imperfections southern when I do that shit. Yeah, or Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, I mean,
Cradle of Filth, not my favorite band, but they have some pretty sick tees.
I don't even look halfway decent if I'm laying on the flat of my back.
Oh God, I hate that. Like, God forbid the fucking front-facing camera pops up on your phone when you're like laying in bed and like you just got the flattened out double chin. You look like what's that blobfish thing that made its rounds on memes for being so ugly?
I don't know.
Oh God, it's terrifying. It's horrible. Wait for it.
Bless you. God bless you. But you know, it's
excuse me.
Death penalty is one of those things. I just firmly believe now you have to be 100. DNA makes it a little bit better, but it's not 100%. We all know eyewitness accounts are shit.
Oh yeah,
you can't trust that. You're better off taking trusting a lie detector test than,
which is also shit,
an eyewitness account at that time because of how we know the brain works.
Just remember, folks, if everybody watching this right now shares this with 2 of their friends, you'll triple the viewership.
Thank you.
It's not going to happen.
But you know, so that was the case that kind of made me think, okay, maybe we need to reel it in a little bit. And what's wrong with life in jail? And our life on death row. And I think the Damien Eccles case is a perfect example. That damn near killed him anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's not.
He's fucked up for life because of that.
It's not the Holiday Inn Express. That is torture. Death might
I'm
be.
I'm not a child murderer, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
But you know, death is actually, I hate to say it, the easy way out, because we don't do it like what some of
the only other argument, the argument I see for the other is like, if you're never going to let them out, I do see the argument of the financial burden of keeping these people alive.
I get it,
because it's not like we can fucking just put them in a torture chamber, which would be sick, which we will be talking about tonight.
All right,
in tonight's episode.
Excuse me.
But yeah, so basically what you're saying is they need to stop. You think that the United States government or state governments need to not look at killing other people for their crimes as if it's like NASCAR racing logic?
Right.
Like no raise hail, praise Dale.
No.
Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. If you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing, son.
I'm just saying.
Honey, it's Sunday afternoon. Why ain't I got my KFC bucket, gigantic bottle of Mountain Dew, and a can of dip?
Especially what we've learned, cases that have come up where prosecutors have withheld evidence that could have thrown shadow of a doubt into there because it hurt their case, you know. And just like the Manson from last week. The Manson episode from last week. That motherfucker knew Terry Melcher had seen Manson. He was actually more friendly with him than the 3 times, I think. You know, he knew it. He knew he saw him after the murders. He had witnesses placing him there, but he held that back because he didn't pursue that. Because it put a damper on his theory of Helter Skelter.
Yeah, and pretty much what we're dealing with is the world would be a better place if
with no lawyers.
If we were run, if we could all think like Carl from Sling Blade, the world would be a better place.
I mean, because there's some shady motherfuckers.
Like, go ahead.
If you have somebody like that, when somebody's life's on the line, you have to have a conscience. You know, that sounds like a line from a Bon Jovi song. I'm a dick. I'm an asshole in real life.
But you're not Scar from Lion King.
Right. But even if I was a prosecutor, I don't think in good faith I could come across evidence that maybe prove me wrong and still go through because I want the win.
They should allow televised court sessions and let people like us be like the TV host for it in like really grisly stuff. Don't show the photos and stuff on the television,
right? But
just show our reactions. Let us do reactions to stuff like that. Be like, and Exhibit A, the body found in the master bedroom on that oh so sad and frightful night, and just fuck, it looks like the guy who Hannibal Lecter ate his face off. It's gross.
I just don't know. I'm so disgusted by the judicial system.
The jujitsu system?
Judicial. I can't even talk right now. Anyway.
The judicial system?
Yeah.
Vote for Kamala Harris.
Yeah, Kamala. Well, fuck, we don't even know what her fucking name is. Kamala, or whatever the fuck her name is.
Chimira.
I prefer
but now that
Twat Waffle.
Lady KK.
No, but it's just, you can't. It's just, the whole system's, it favors the rich. If you don't have, God forbid I get charged with a crime, I am fucked in the ass.
Yeah, if you can't afford anything but a public defender, you're automatically fucked.
Okay.
But that is an interesting thought. I made that Sling Blade comment. If you think about it, Carl from Sling Blade, just his thought process could solve a lot of problems in the world. Like, they asked him how they felt about those 2 guys being gay. He said, they ain't hurt nobody. I reckon ain't nothing wrong with it. you're at you're in a case for, the assault of a sexual nature and or murder of a child. You shouldn't have done that. He's just a boy.
But just so you know, if the dog has a seizure, we're going to have to pause the show.
Don't.
Or you're going to have to just swing it on your own. I'll have to go.
Don't do it.
And we'll try not to decapitate Snoop Dogg again.
He's alive.
He's alive and well.
He does, like I said, he does have a little skin tag on the one side.
That's
so he's going to be all right. Black does apparently crack.
Apparently it does.
Boom. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. That's the climax of what we're going to be able to accomplish here.
Hey, and before you
We're going with the mouse on the leg.
Before you forget, your feet stay where they're fucking at. Don't move them. And kick the fucking power cord again.
I thought you were going to start spitting Slipknot bars.
No.
All right. So let's talk about some fucking execution methods from around the world throughout the ever dripping sands of time.
Disclaimer, kids, don't do this at home. Do not try any of this.
Maybe try a variation of a couple of them. We're going to start with Ling Chi, which to me sounds like a flavor of energy drink. It sounds like a berry. This is from China. This is also known as death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, shit.
Yes, used in China from the Tang Dynasty, which is the 10th century, until 1905. So 1,000 years they were using this as an execution method. It was reserved for severe crimes like treason, patricide, and regicide, which is a good song.
What is regicide?
Well, you gotta ask me questions.
Okay, I know what treason is.
Well, we know what patricide is.
Oh, what the fuck do you do?
I'm fucking looking up what regicide is. Shut up.
Got it. But
I should know what regicide is. There's literally a song I like called Regicide. Regicide, the act of killing a king. Oh, that's why we don't know what it is, because we don't have fucking kings anymore. Except for King Jew.
Jesus.
I still can't believe they took that shit down. King Jew is hilarious.
Oh, we're putting it back up.
Eat a dick. Yeah. The original creator of this content no longer is sharing it for public. It's ours. There's not even fucking music on it, twat knock. Oh, you bunch of bitches.
We were silenced.
So, and we know what patricide is. That's killing Mel Gibson. That's, dude, still, I don't care how crazy Mel Gibson went. That movie is good. The Patriot.
Oh, that's that's a very good movie.
Dude, that was a fucking, there was so many tear jerkers in that. Fucking when, like 8 of his 9 kids fucking died throughout the film.
Mel makes some banger movies.
Dude, when Heath Ledger said, "I'm not a child," he said, "You're my child." I was like, Daddy, no. Don't hit me again. So executioners would methodically slice off portions of flesh over time in this practice. Victims were sometimes given opium to prolong their suffering, kind of like a painkiller type situation.
Well, doesn't that defeat?
So they wouldn't
give you a lot, just give you a little taste of painkiller.
Yeah.
Opium.
Well, opium and heroin are two very different things.
Isn't heroin
is derived from opium, but I
thought it was
the opium that they're doing back then. No, heroin is derived from opium, but the opium that they're doing back then is not the monster that is heroin as it is known today. Also, just like for all the stupid people out there that still believe this, you would have to eat an insane amount of poppy seed bagels to fail a drug test for heroin use.
You say just one? The rumor of just one is not gonna.
Yeah,
it won't pop a test.
No.
Oh fuck. Oh well.
Why? Why? Fuck.
I wanted to fail a test.
Oh. So this could last for minutes or hours before they died.
Well, how fast they cutting if they're doing it for minutes?
Well, right. But the aim of this process was to destroy the victim's body both physically and spiritually. I mean, I guess you're opening up a lot of portals for people, their spirit to escape. Like and share this video so people can listen to me talk about random ways of killing other people. Somewhere in the world, there's some person who really needs to hear this that's slightly unbalanced.
We're big on the death row community, so they're probably not gonna like this episode.
Shout out Death Row, Snoop Dogg.
Don't hit that too hard,
dude. The Black Don't Crack line was fucking fantastic. I can't believe I didn't think about that earlier. That was off the top of the dome. Like most of the Do Double G's classic bars.
Okay. I just don't.
So how do you feel about Death by 1,000 Cuts?
I'm not a fan. I wouldn't want to die that way. It's sinister, cruel.
For some reason, that kind of made me think of the was it Saw 2 or Saw 3, where the person was thrown into, I think, a like pit of razor blade. It was either razor blades or needles. And I was like, ugh.
I've always said if somebody crossed me, I just wouldn't, off them right away.
Slow and
it'd be something like this, but I never thought of this. I mean, this is the
or you just give them a bunch of you just use like a fucking safety razor or a razor blade. You just give them 1,000 little cuts, and then you start throwing fucking lemon juice and salt on them.
I'm poor. I'd use actual paper.
Or my personal favorite idea, I don't want to say favorite because that sounds really psychopathic, but an interesting idea I've always thought, if somebody were to do something terrible to, like, if you had a daughter or something, strap them to a table naked, just because that always adds to the mental stress of the situation. Cut their eyelids off, and then with like bright halogen lights on at all times, and then start force feeding them sleeping pills.
That's sinister.
And then like eye drop them so their eyes don't dry out.
That's awful nice of you.
Yeah, until they're just like, please.
All right. So they wouldn't do this for like, murder, just acts against the
specific types of murder.
Okay. But acts against the motherland or whatever.
The dynasty.
Dynasty, that's right. I'm not up to date on the Chinese.
Speaking of dynasty, that made me think, did you ever see any of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies back in the day?
In the day, yeah.
The live action ones?
Yeah, the first one I know I saw.
Oh, you never saw the third one where they went back in time to feudal Japan?
Is that the one with Ice did this?
That's the second one.
Is that the second one?
The third
that's
one.
Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
The second one was when they went back.
I don't think I saw the third one.
They went back in time to feudal Japan. And interesting fact I didn't know until I was an adult, the shogun or daimyo, whatever, I forget which level of power he had, but I remember, I don't know why I just thought of this, but I remember he was like, he saw them and got told about them, and then he like looked at a scroll and saw basically the Ninja Turtles, to the point that I'm pretty sure they even were color coded like they are, and I was like, that seems unlikely. But he was like, Kappa, and then he called him Kappa a couple times. Accurate. Kappa was actually a water demon in Japanese lore. They were little water braining little motherfuckers.
Somebody did their homework.
They were little, bless their heart, turtles. No? Scaphism. This is a good one, from ancient Persia. Originated with the
say that 3 times fast.
Achaemenid Empire.
Whatever.
In the 5th century BCE, so 2-3 years ago. And the victim was tied between 2 wooden boats or inside a hollowed log, force-fed milk and honey, which caused diarrhea. And the honey was also smeared on their body to attract insects. They would be left in stagnant water or a swamp where bugs and parasites ate them alive, and victims often died from a combination of dehydration, infection, and being eaten by insects. Ancient
Persia was a bunch of dicks.
One recorded case took 17 days for the victim to die. Where was that recorded? Where'd we find that scroll?
I want to say this. People have, today they say we are at an all-time low. We are sick individuals.
I was thinking the same shit when I did these notes.
These ancient motherfuckers were barbaric assholes.
Yeah, I know. Like, and you think of like Bill and Ted's Bogus, like, and they go back in time to like Kangaskhan, Khan, and they're like, we have computers. He's like, yeah, but I know how to kill motherfuckers in cool ways.
I mean, God, these were some evil sons of bitches.
I know. Everybody's like, oh my God, Saw was such a good movie, but it really fucks with my brain. The way that they torture and kill people. I'm like, yeah, imagine going back 1,000 years where just everybody is that.
I want to know who was the sick, perverse motherfucker who was sitting here one day going, you know what?
Like he's got an old board with like yarn in between it, like he's investigating a murder. He's like, honey attracts bugs, milk diarrhea, direct sunlight diarrhea, milk, honey bugs, water.
I got an idea.
Archimedes, bring me another scroll.
I mean,
I must pen a memorandum to the king.
Think whoever thought of this, they obviously, mental health was not a big deal back then.
My thing is, like,
this guy needed some therapy.
Do you think the people that came up with these methods were like high society?
Well, of course.
Like they're like, this is Lady Bartholomew Fortblatt the Seventh. She is the Duchess of Buckingham.
I don't think that's a Persian accent.
This is Reginald Filigree the 17th. He is the scribe of the great king of Poland. This is Ron. Ron figures out how we kill people. Say hello, Ron. Hi. Everybody's like, another champagne flute, and Ron's like, I will have nothing.
I'm just saying, this guy probably wasn't the most popular guy in society.
May I have a bit of champagne and perhaps some fine caviar? Ron, can I get you anything, Ron? Natty Light, Slim Jim, Mountain Dew Chaser.
Now you're speaking my language.
Them some fancy jeans you got on, King Man.
I did 17 days. That is, frankly, I don't have that kind of time to wait around. I don't have that kind of patience.
You look famished. Would you like a bit of spotted dick? The fuck did you just call me, bitch? My dick's a lot of things. It ain't spotted. It might be itchy and smell bad, but it ain't spotted.
If we're not going to get canceled, if we're not going to get this episode taken down just for the mere content, we're going to try hard.
I'm from southern Persia. The fuck you think this is? Try that in a small town.
All right.
My dick ain't spotted. My dog ain't even spotted. I got rid of the spotted one because I could only pet certain parts of his body.
Nice.
I pet my dog like I'm solving a puzzle in a highlights magazine. I avoid the black parts.
All right. Well, what's the next one? Ooh.
The Brazen Bull. We all know this one. Well, I don't know if we all know this one, but you and I know this one because we're pieces of shit. Ancient Greece. Around the 6th century BCE. It was invented by the Greek tyrant Phalaris of Archagus. Or Polaris side-by-side ATV of...
Don't think it's not spelled this way.
Archagas.
Archagas, okay.
It was a life-size hollowed bronze bull with a door on its side, which I feel like they missed an opportunity to make this slightly better by not putting the door in its ass. Tell me I'm wrong. Wouldn't be a little more heartbreaking to be like, you're going to die now. Enter this bovine's anus.
So far, this is the winner so far. It's not that bad.
Oh, just wait.
Okay.
The victim was placed inside and a fire was lit beneath the bull.
You dick.
Heat caused the metal to cook the victim alive, and a system of pipes modified their screams to sound like a roaring bull.
I give him an A for creativity.
Phalaris himself was supposedly executed in the same bull he invented.
Talk about karma.
Yeah, good job. That's that's worse than like the Greek point of view of like the child will kill the father, blah 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 blah, all that shit.
Yeah,
that's worse. The invention will kill the inventor. Elon Musk. Phalaris of ancient Greece was ye old Elon Musk.
Maybe.
And you guys will fucking know what I'm talking about when we've got little white robots crawling up the side of skyscrapers to overthrow and topple the insurance business.
Probably. I don't know this.
It's gonna happen. Will Smith told us. And now, yeah. Shout out to Will Smith. He put out a song, another song with Joyner Lucas.
Is he trying to revive his career? Not much.
He's better now. Like, if you like, from a rap point of view, he's better now than he was back in the day. But I'm pretty sure he's probably also got people writing for him.
Well, you know, slapping somebody on national television and looking like a bitch tends to ruin a career.
Chris, dude, like, yeah, he had there was cucky vibes on that situation.
You think?
Chris Rock should have just stabbed him.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
We shall.
The breaking wheel, also known as the Catherine wheel, from medieval Europe, used in Germany, France, and the Netherlands from the Middle Ages until the 18th century, so really not that long ago.
No.
The condemned was tied to a large wooden wheel, and then executioners used a metal bar to break their arms and legs. And sometimes the wheel was turned so the victim's shattered limbs would flail around.
Hey, if you're going to execute somebody, be amused by it,
right? Hey. It's basically like the beginning stages of the giant wheel at the end of Price is Right.
Yeah. Or every time, you know, Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. But you're just like, ah! It's a morbidly hilarious mental image to just see some guy like, oh no, and his arms are just like cracking.
Well, at least the Europeans at the time were putting on a show.
Yeah. The greatest showman.
Yes.
This is a Hugh Jackman of execution methods. Actually, no, it's not. It gets better. Sometimes, I already read that part. Some victims were left on display, taking days to die.
I'm sure it's not good.
If a mercy killing was allowed, the executioner struck the victim's chest or head to end their suffering. I saw that and wrote it down. I was like, with what? Head kind of makes sense, but like, what do you mean? You just whacked him in the chest and he died? I mean, I know that can happen. Like, there's a, what's his name? Wasn't it Damar Hamlin? Like, you can get a concussive blow to the torso at the right time in the heart's rhythmic pattern.
It happens.
And it will throw you into basically a heart attack.
You know, funny thing is, when that happened, you probably heard of it. I'm sure everybody else heard of it, but I'm going to say it anyway because I want to.
I want to.
That's actually more common than people think, but it's more common in baseball.
Huh.
More people have...
Is that what happened to John Q's son?
I don't know. No. I don't know.
You want to cry? Watch that fucking movie. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Tell me you didn't cry.
It's been so long. I'm probably sure I got a little misty. I got a little moist, probably.
I had a little moist when that man almost died for his child's life.
Yeah. But my point is, it doesn't take much
to throw the heart out of rhythm.
And like I said, it happens more often. It's happened more in baseball than any other sport because
it just happens randomly
hit in the chest
without outside influence. Right. I'm pretty sure that I don't know if it's like a chronic thing, but like I'm pretty sure I have experienced a like cardiac arrhythmia type situation.
I haven't.
It just feels like I've just had a couple times where it's like it almost feels like it doesn't even feel like my heart skips a beat, but I've felt it a couple times where it almost felt like it was like playing catch up for one beat. Like it was like, duh.
Apparently, we're having people in the chat is having a stroke or seizure. You know,
suck it up, Buttercup.
We have officially hit rock bottom if we're causing seizures with our shittiness.
Next week, strobe lights.
Nice.
That would be kind of fun. Just have no. There's no way that would get kicked off of YouTube. They'd be like, no, you literally gave people seizures. Where was I? Sawing in half. Doesn't take much to talk about this one. Ancient Rome, China, and in the Middle Ages, Europe. They were hung upside down to keep blood in the brain, prolonging consciousness.
Oh,
And then a large saw was used to cut them in half, often starting at the groin.
I keep thinking about Deadpool too.
Yeah. They did sometimes do it the opposite way too. Or Terrifier. Art the Clown did that in Terrifier 1.
Never saw it, so
It's one of those movies that everybody's like, you have two ways of looking at the Terrifier movies. Either people are like, oh my God, it was disgusting and horrible and blah, 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 blah. And then you have people like me that is like, that shit was hilarious. Like, he was clearly cutting a chick in half vagina first that was clearly fake when they started showing it. Like, I'm pretty sure there's even like some.
How would you know?
I'm even sure there's even little pubes.
Have you ever seen one up close?
A person gets sawed in half?
No, vagina.
On the internet.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure there's even little pubes, maybe. I can't remember. But like, that movie is hilarious. It leans so hard into every horror movie trope. Like, the girl like hits him with a fucking 2x4 and he's like, oh, well, he doesn't really make any noise. He never makes noise. And like drops the gun. What happens? She runs without picking up the 2x4 or the gun. Or maybe that's when she stabbed him in the leg. Doesn't pick up either. Just runs. Like, you idiot.
You idiot.
You could have ended this right now. You deserve what's about to happen to you. That was a very Donald Trump thing to say. But that, in the movie, if she had died, she would have that one coming for literally being like, use weapon on assailant. Assailant falls, cry and scream, and then run away without picking up either of the weapons involved in this situation. You idiot. That's some shit I would do.
Probably.
The Blood Eagle. This was a Viking tradition.
Oh, this is probably going to be awesome.
It was possibly used in the 9th and 10th centuries. It is controversial, and some scholars believe it's exaggerated or mythical, which I think it probably is, but it's still fucking it's pretty dope.
With the Vikings is exaggerated a little bit.
They did this to someone in the TV show Vikings. The victim was restrained and their back was sliced open. Ribs were broken outward to resemble wings, and their lungs were pulled out and draped over the back, supposedly while the victim was still alive. It was mainly done to high status prisoners or traitors. And I've also heard and read that part of that execution method or that punishment was if you could endure that and not scream, because it was very much for traitors and shit and like kings or whatever. If you could endure that without screaming, then you had the possibility of still making it into Valhalla.
Well, I think whoever would not scream is a psychopath, because I damn near screamed just by listening to you explain it.
Right, like you just expect people to sit there like Elijah Wood in Sin City when fucking Marv was cutting his head off and he was just like, the dog was eating him alive and he's just...
Well, this is so horrendous. You know how you watching a movie or watching TV and somebody gets kicked in the nuts? And you automatically have, every man has the same reaction. They kind of go and start crossing their legs.
See, not even so much that.
I had that with this.
The one that jumps out at me that I remember is, you remember Hostel?
No.
You never saw Hostel?
I don't think so.
You should watch Hostel.
It's one of those ones I've seen probably some of it, but never.
You should watch it. There's a scene in that where somebody gets their Achilles cut. And like, you're just like, try not to sit Indian style after that. It's just like back in the day when everybody was like, there's a masked assailant that nobody knows is hiding under cars and attacking people when they go to their car at the grocery store. Or don't flash your lights when you see a car without their lights on. It's a gang initiation and they're gonna kill you if you do it. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
All that dumb shit. Hey buddy. He sits by the door and he just like, he fucking Sarah McLaughlin's me. He's like, just for $1 a day, you can feed me even more food.
It's more than $1 a day. I guarantee that dog. I pay more dog food than I eat.
Keel hauling. This is a Dutch and British Navy.
I was going to say it has something to do
situation.
with the water.
Used as a naval punishment from the 16th to 18th centuries, the condemned was tied to a rope. And wouldn't that be tied with a rope? You were tied to a rope?
I think I agree with you. It should be tied up with a rope.
I'm dumb. And thrown overboard. They were dragged under the ship's hull, often scraping against sharp barnacles. Many drowned and bled to death from these cuts.
No shit.
Yeah.
Because under the...
Oh! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? You didn't say it.
Because I don't like the show.
SpongeBob SquarePants. I like it more now that I know the original intent of that cartoon. It's supposed to be an adult cartoon. And SpongeBob and Patrick are supposed to be gay lovers.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It reads.
Good for them.
It reads. Like,
everybody deserves love.
Love is beautiful. Love is blind. Great show. Have you watched Love is Blind? Or not Love is Blind, Love on the Spectrum?
No.
Oh my God, watch it.
No.
They take autistic people and they are like, here's a blind date with another autistic person. Hey, person who doesn't understand social cues as well as a lot of other people and gets awkward and quiet sometimes. Let me put a camera in your face and send you on a date.
That just seems cruel to me. But, whatever.
That's you've probably seen the clip on TikTok and shit. It's from that where they're walking away and he was like, "Well, Alice, it seems we've both got autism, doesn't it?"
Oh, no, I've never seen it.
Oh, we have different algorithms.
But getting back to heel hauling or whatever,
it's a good one.
Yeah, but I think that this is efficient, and you're not gonna you're gonna drown. The hull is under the water. They're dragging you, and you are under the water.
Yeah,
you are going to drown somewhat quickly.
Unless they keep pulling you up and doing it over and over again.
Then you're just dicks. But
cheese grater style.
That is actual waterboarding. Just saying.
That's true. Chinese water torture. Who sent you?
Oh, I'm sure there's people listening to this podcast. We'll be.
They're not even digging for information.
They're going, this guy's a dick. Cultural appropriation. He's Asian. He can do it.
Who sent you? Who sent you steal my General Tso chicken recipe?
Me, I can get away with this.
I never tell how much ginger.
Let's see. Yeah, but I think this is more humane than everything you've covered so far. I'm just saying. That
made me think of Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. When they were talking about Sesame Street on Dr. Phil Live, he said, do they have Sesame Street in Asia or in Korea? And he said, yeah, they call it regular road. And I was cracking the fuck up. Like, as an Asian American, I approve this message. Impalement. We all know this. Made famous by Vlad the Impaler. Excuse me.
And Game of Thrones.
Yes. This method was used by Assyrians, Persians, Ottomans, and famously Vlad III, or Vlad Dracula in the 15th century. If you don't know, a sharp wooden stake was inserted into the anus or the vagina, and the stake was positioned to avoid vital organs prolonging suffering, and the victim's own body weight caused slow impalement, sometimes lasting days. So they would literally impale you and then stand it up and just let you be like,
well, good news for us. We'd die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Gravity would be a bitch.
They'd be like, yes, put the fat Asian one on the impalement stick. He shall suffer. Oh, fuck. He shall suffer for many days for his treasonous act. Did we grease that one? Is he just that fucking fat? He's that fat and gay? He slid down that fast? Gee, it was like a stripper pole incident. It was like, have you guys, I know it's ancient times and we don't have, but have you ever seen YouTube where they put the grease on the poles for Mardi Gras and the stupid college girls try to climb down them from the back? That's what just happened.
Oh, we are fucking 12-year-olds.
Jesus Christ. That's how I imagine it. Just they put me on top of there, and literally he just goes, holy fuck. How did we add the stick? We added interference and friction, and I'm pretty sure he went down on that stick faster than terminal velocity. He's broken the laws of physics. He's so fat. And I'm just over there like, oh, good one. Why does it smell like that? How did that happen? He went to Chinese buffet yesterday, sir. That explains everything.
Good old Count Dracul.
Oh, God. Again, and then Vlad has famously impaled thousands of people.
What didn't he do? During it was wartime, and he did it along the street. Pretty much that's where Game of Thrones ripped him off.
I think he did it leading up to his castle.
Right.
I also heard, I don't know how much truth there is behind it, but I think it was part of the Crusades. They lined the road from Rome to fucking Jerusalem or some shit like that, with the heads and bodies of their fallen enemies. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but we're assholes this
holy. Do unto others, spike.
I mean, I'm thinking grabbing by the hoo-ha is not that bad compared to this shit.
Electric chair, that's it? Shit. Oh, yeah, also electric chair, lethal injection, hanging, firing squad.
How you going to get to that?
Drowning.
Are we going to discuss those in this episode?
Fuck no, those are boring.
I'm just saying, you know how people will, some states, I guess,
you can choose from a list of methods.
What kind of fucknut would choose firing squad? My luck, I'd be in some state where a bunch of hillbillies were that never shot guns and probably high on moonshine or drunk and fuck on moonshine.
They'd walk you in and they blindfold you, but they'd be like, these will be the men that will execute you on this day, sir. And you look over and it's just a bunch of cockeyed fucking rednecks. They're just all like, hell yeah, brother. If you ain't rapping, you ain't racing. Let's get this thing going. Daytona 500 comes on 20 minutes, son.
And they wouldn't even, they'd nick me. Death by 1,000 gunshots.
They'd fucking hit you. You missed the target. He gonna die eventually. Just put some honey on him. Give him some milk. Throw him out in the pool. Water Strider's gonna get him. So stupid. Crushing by elephant.
Nice.
India and Southeast Asia, this was used as both an execution and public spectacle. No shit. If you're crushing someone using an elephant to crush somebody, you better have a crowd.
It's going to be a spectacle. But isn't this just called Tuesday?
What, in India and Southeast Asia? Dude, oh my God, this reminds me, quick sidebar. I saw the saddest video. It wasn't sad. It was really cool, but there was one really eye-openingly sad part. It was Forrest Galante, who we've talked about before, the biologist, has a podcast I listen to and shit. He's been on Rogan a couple times. He went to India where some billionaire has built the biggest wildlife sanctuary maybe in the world as far as enclosed places. It's massive. I want to go there so bad. It's so cool. He's got crocodiles, monkeys, birds, leopards, tigers, everything you can think of he has there. And he has this I forget the acreage, but this just open plot of land for elephants and other certain types of animals, because as we know, in Asia, elephants are mistreated and misused for a lot of things, by loggers, shit like that.
Circus and shit like that.
Yeah, Dumbo.
That was I know it was cruel and unusual punishment, but that was the best part of the circus.
What, the elephants?
Yeah.
The worst part was me wanting to punch the size of clown's face for free. They're like, and I'm like, dude, back the fuck off. I'm 19 years old. And they're like, well, why the long face? I'm like, I don't know. Why the fucking bloody face, bitch?
I kind of have a fondness for elephants.
You want to get impaled, motherfucker?
but I enjoyed the elephants. I enjoyed the elephants at the zoo, and when I took my youngest daughter, to the zoo, one of the last times, right before they became a no-no to have elephants.
Yeah.
PETA got all pissy and won.
Well, I mean, because I'm in the middle. Like, I don't like zoos from the standpoint that, like, yes, those animals should be in the wild, but I also understand that, like, it's a forced evil now. Well, and because a lot of these animals are born in captivity, and I also respect the fact that, like, a lot of zoos in these programs are good for the conservation of animals, because they can have captive monitored breeding to keep that species alive.
Yeah. I mean, there's pros and cons.
Con Supernussenpone from King of the Hill?
No.
Hillbilly. But this guy, dude, it was like, Forrest Galante's going through all this stuff, and he's like, there was one animal he had there that, like, he's always wanted to see. He got all jittery and shit. As some type of big weird fucking deer antelope looking fucking thing, and I was like, that's what you're excited for? And, like, he got to play with, like, a jaguar or a leopard or a jaguar's tail. Like, they pulled it through the fence, and he was like, because that's a no. Jaguars and leopards are arguably the gnarliest of the big cats, which people don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this.
Because they're fast, they're quiet. Like, you're not going to know they're coming. True. And they're strong as shit. They have, I believe, leopards and jaguars have one of the stronger bite forces as far as pound per square inch of big cats.
Really?
And leopards are the ones that you see, like, carrying fucking animals up trees in their mouth to eat them up off the ground, so, like, lions and shit won't come fuck with them.
Huh.
Yeah. They're gnarly. But he went to the elephant exhibit or enclosure or whatever the fuck, and it's just like free reign. They can walk around, they can knock over trees like elephants do, and just live elephant life within the bounds of this property. And you can see that they're all like old logging elephants or performing elephants. They've got scars and shit like that. And I don't know if they did it for the video, but they had these leg shackles that they use for those, like, elephants that they give jobs to, quote unquote, and they, like, have spikes on them on the inside and shit, so if they, like, pull too hard, it hurts them, so they can't go anywhere. And, like, these two elephants, like, they have the camera down on the ground to really show off the size of them, and, like, they are walking along, and they walk over to these, and they start, like, picking them up with their trunks and, like, throwing them on the ground and shit, like they're trying to break them. And you're like, fuck. It was a weird moment of watching that YouTube video where I was like, damn. Because it's another thing with elephants is, like, they're weirdly intelligent and weirdly human in a way. It's just like the stories of, like, I think it might have been him or somebody else I heard just tell a story of, like, they were on an assignment, or a film trip or something, and, like, these elephants came through where they were staying or their camp or something like that, and, like, nobody there on site knew that this chick that was with them was pregnant, but, like, one of the elephants just, like, walked up to her and, like, put its trunk on her stomach and just kind of, like, walked away, and nobody knew she was pregnant in that group.
So you're telling me,
but the elephant did.
Well, animals pick up on things.
Yeah, I think it's easily explainable, like pheromones and shit. But I was like, that's fucking cool, dude. Like, they're aliens, and they have weirdly human eyes. Have you ever seen a close up of an elephant's eye?
I'm sure I have. I haven't paid much attention.
It's weird. Like, even on, like, videos and pictures and shit, like, they have those kind of eyes where, like, you look at them and you're like, oh, there's legitimate thought going on behind that. It's crude. It makes it so much sadder when you see him.
Tail make my ass look fat.
Have you seen the video of the guy that the elephant trainer that the elephant sat down and his head went up its ass?
What?
Yeah, this is a real video. Like I forget. Like, the elephant, like, sat on him and his head, like, disappeared in the elephant's ass.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's a shitty experience.
You get paid good money to do that in Mexico.
Yeah.
These elephants were trained to step on, crush, or dismember people, which I think is way more metal.
How? Just what?
if you tie them up and then they just grab... Oh, yeah, because, I mean, if you think about it, an elephant could easily grab you with its trunk and rip your arm off.
It could sneeze.
It could fucking, like, turn too fast and hit you in the head with its dick and send you into a fucking coma.
That's a big dick.
I just randomly saw a video. It was like, ever wonder how elephants pee? And it was just a giant elephant dick. And, like, you could literally hear, like... It sounded like a little tiny like creek that was like all the dam water was going. It was like these
freaking falls.
Like I'm pretty sure it was eroding the ground beneath it. And on top of the fact that it only had about a fucking 4.5 inch trip from tip of dick to ground.
A lot of pressure.
I was like, I get that struggle. No, I don't. I'm fat and Asian. The fuck are you talking about? In some cases, they were instructed to prolong the agony by breaking limbs before finishing off the victim. Which, what do you mean they were instructed to do? They're elephants. They just broke limbs. They could literally completely tear us in half. I think they were just kind of playing at that point.
Yeah.
This was used for criminals, rebels, and war prisoners in the Mughal Empire in Southeast Asia. A variation in Thailand involved elephants using their tusks to gore victims.
That would suck too.
That was actually a weapon at one point. Like in India and Thailand, places like that, like they obviously like how we have used horses for warfare and shit, they would use elephants, like the Ottoman Empire and shit.
Yeah.
And they would put like swords basically on the elephant's tusks.
Why do you need to add swords?
Why not?
They're pointy.
That's metal as fuck, dude.
They're gonna do the job anyway.
Fuck you. If I'm going into battle, they'd be like, do you want the bayonet? Would you like a rifle? I'll be like, no, I want the sword elephant.
The sword elephant.
I want the fucking Lord of the Rings character. Thank you very much. Next question, please. Yes, I will have sugar and cream atop of my war elephant. Be like, oh yeah? Bitch, you won't say it to my face. War elephant? Fucking pussy. I might be a pussy, but at least I'm up here, bucko.
It's a long way to fall.
Yeah. I also love how in Lord of the Rings they had elephants, but they were really creative. They called them Arlephants. And they were like way bigger than real elephants.
Of course they were.
Way bigger and had more tusks.
More than 2?
They had like 6. Now that's a war elephant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a fucking one of the deathcore bands that follows us on Instagram and be like, dude, here you go, new song name, War Elephant. Get to writing. Drawn and quartered. We've all heard this one.
Yes, we've heard of it.
William Wallace. It was reserved for high treason in England from the 13th to the 18th century. Don't need that. We already know. Let's go to the process. 1, hanging, but cut down before death.
Nice of them. 2,
disemboweling. Their stomach was sliced open and intestines removed and burned.
Nice for a bad day.
Genital mutilation.
Now, see, my first reaction.
They were sometimes castrated and burned.
Oh, that's burned.
Yeah.
After castration?
My thing is, like, if we're talking about the 13th to 18th century, I'm pretty sure their genitals were probably burning already.
Yes.
Between non-cleanliness and fucking, syphilis. Yeah, or insert any other, the mesothelioma of STIs, some shit we don't even have anymore. Where were we? 4, beheading. If the victim was still alive at this point, their head was cut off. And the last step was quartering, where their body was chopped into 4 pieces and displayed publicly. So basically like a cannibal's version of a butcher shop in the 50s.
Yeah.
Can I get the left arm, please? It looks a little better. The right one's got a tattoo. Not really into that flavor. Again, like I already said, famous victim was William Wallace. From, I love how like this is how you make it recognizable. William Wallace of Braveheart fame, not of his actual human person that was a thing.
Another Mel Gibson banger.
But did you know this? He was executed that way in 1305. I don't think a lot of people think about or realize how long ago all that was.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
I mean,
shut up.
I remember it well.
That was me yelling at one of the neighbor's dogs. The Spanish tickler.
Now we're talking.
Also known as the cat's paw.
Ooh, now did this involve blindfold and handcuffs?
We shall execute the defendant by pussy mitt. This was a metal clawed tool used to tear skin, muscle, and even bones apart.
Okay, now not where I thought this was. I wanted this to go.
Often used during interrogations to inflict extreme pain. Valid use for this, I would have to say. I mean, I'm not saying that don't do this. It's fucked up, but like it would work pretty well. If you start making city barbecue sandwiches out of fucking Felipe because he won't tell you who tried to overthrow the government back in the day. You start shredding them up like a chicken breast or like some good old barbacoa. That's where barbacoa came from.
The Spanish tickler?
Yeah.
Okay.
They shredded up some bitch named Barb.
I guarantee you Google Spanish tickler,
That's not what you're going to get.
It's not what you're going to get.
You ain't going to get the old puss mitt.
No, you're going to get something.
Cat's paw. They should have called it puss mitt. It could be used on the face, back, or chest. And it was designed to strip flesh from the body with minimal effort.
Is it similar to what is it? The Da Vinci Code?
The whip?
Yeah, on the back. Or was that just a whip?
No, it's a different type of whip. That's actually, I believe, used in some extreme denominations of Catholicism.
Probably.
But no, it's got those have. I forget. I looked it up. I forget exactly what is on those whips, what that apparatus is, but there is stuff added to that to cause those cuts and abrasions. The first thing I thought of when I read about this one was literally those fucking claws that you can buy at Kroger for shredding chicken and shit. Which also, on top of that, I'm about to buy one of these. You know what else you can get now? What? Instead of those to shred chicken, you can literally get a big plastic meat weed grinder. It's literally like a weed grinder with the little cones and shit, and you can put your meat in it and just grind your meat.
Nice. Who doesn't like to grind their meat?
Rat torture.
Did you say rat torture? I thought you said rap torture.
This is basically what they did in Too Fast, Too Furious. To the cop. Remember they put the bucket and the rat on his...
I thought you meant the audience in the movie. My bad.
That was a pretty trash fucking Fast and Furious movie. But yeah, basically you put a cage or a bucket on somebody's body, and then you put rats in it, and then you make it very hot. And the rats, being rats, will eat their way out of that situation to save their own lives. And rats can eat through fucking anything.
Wouldn't you do the same?
What? Eat through a human body to stay alive?
Yeah.
I don't have to. You don't have to fucking threaten me with death. All you gotta do is put some fucking teriyaki sauce and wrap it in seaweed, and I'm in there.
Dig it in. Bon appetit.
Oh, the California roll. Your shitty sushi on same block as my shitty chicken. My shitty wok.
Here's a question for you. It's kind of off topic, but on topic.
I thought it was going to be something ridiculous. Did you ever put the fruit stripe gum tattoos on your tongue?
No. Plane crash.
Yep, I'll eat them.
Would you resort to cannibalism?
Are you talking about that Chilean thing?
That or...
I think, realistically, I don't want to say any.
Think everybody would?
I think more people would than...
You think the hunger would take over?
Than are capable of admitting it. You know what I'm saying? I think more people would do it than, could fathom themselves being in a situation of doing that.
I mean, I don't think I could, but once that hunger kicks in,
once your reptilian brain takes over,
I'd probably say, well, I didn't like Bob anyway. So
Bob tastes like shit. That
don't taste like chicken.
Bob tastes just like his attitude at work.
I mean, I think this is an interesting, thought experiment. Would you?
Yeah.
How long would it take for you to get hungry enough to actually start eating in that scenario?
6 or 7 hours.
15, 20 minutes. One of you guys got to die.
Why'd you eat Bob first? Well, as history has shown us, Bob has bitch tits. And as we all know, bitch tits reduce into
I'm a breast
very
man.
Nice. Yeah, right. That's the hard part is sitting there and be like, who looks the most delicious?
I mean, that would be horrific.
Be like, we could eat Karen,
Yeah, but she's gonna be a salty bitch.
Yeah, she's just gonna taste like salt and pepper. We could eat Kong Lee. He'll taste a little gingery. He'll have a little, we could eat Taj, a little spice. That's gonna stink up the cave.
Well, and that was big in the, moving out west. What was that group?
Oh, the Donner Party?
Donner Party, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. We have a lot of these to go through, but a lot of these actually will just kind of be circled into another one.
Okay. Cool.
Boiling alive.
That would suck. Here's a question. Do they put you in cold water and slowly heat it, or just throw you in hot water?
What movie was that? I know they did it in Ice Age where they did it with the cold to hot, because he was like, a hot tub.
Isn't that what they do with lobsters?
No, you want hot. You want it like boiling when you drop in crabs and lobsters. That way it's quick. And everybody's like, it's so inhumane, you can hear them scream. I'm like, that's air escaping their shell. Barbara, shut the fuck up.
Don't they do that to frogs, though? Won't a frog, if you warm it up slowly, a frog won't jump out?
Probably.
Or is that a myth? I don't know.
They were lowered into boiling water, oil, or even molten lead.
Oh, that would suck me.
Yeah, they got what is it? What am I looking for? They got the old Robert Redford treatment. They got Luke Skywalkered. Whatever that metal is that they suspend people in Star Wars.
But that doesn't kill you. It freezes you.
Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
Sometimes the cauldron was heated gradually to prolong suffering.
I guess I should have read your notes.
Hey, hot tub. King Henry VIII of England legalized this punishment for prisoners.
Well, wasn't he a cockmuncher anyway?
And also, when the fuck, you didn't have to legalize that shit back in the day. It very much seems like you just did stuff.
You did whatever the fuck you wanted.
They're like, that make people die dead, DED, we does. The garrote, a Spanish and Latin American torture and killing, it used for execution from the 15th to the 20th centuries. It was a metal collar that was placed around the neck, and a screw was tightened to strangle or break the spine.
Oh.
Some versions had a spike that punctured the spinal cord for a quicker death.
I like this version much better than the Mafia version.
Wait for it. Used in Spain until 1974.
You guys are assholes.
You know that you're fucked up and doing fucked up shit when you are using this execution method after Alabama football let black kids in.
And I was alive at this time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
The crocodile shears. It was used for assassins and traitors who attacked royalty. It was a red-hot metal clamp that was used to rip fingers or genitals off. And it could result in massive blood loss before death.
No shit.
You think?
Thank you, Captain Freaking.
No way.
Yes.
Right. Hang, drawn, and quartered. It's the same thing, but involved. This one, almost always had castration and burning of organs.
What is the Europeans' fascination with castration?
Demoralizing a man, I guess.
Do they just not like penises?
Speak for themselves.
I'm just saying.
Pressed to death. Peine forte et dure. This was English and French. You just got fucking weight put on you until you died.
Oh, so this is where
which it says English and French, but I'm pretty sure they were doing this in America too during the witch trials.
Witch trials, yeah. That's where they got it from.
The Judas cradle.
Ooh.
Victim was lowered onto a wooden pyramid so that the point penetrated the anus or vagina, and the victim's own body weight caused slow impalement over hours or days.
The medieval said, "Dracula, hold my beer."
Yeah. That's all. They'd have to do that for me.
Or back there be, hold my ale.
Hold my mead. They'd have to do that to me. The stick wouldn't work. I guess the stick
let's be honest. You get to the bottom of the pyramid.
Oh, yeah. It'd still be alive. You guys got any Twinkies? The coffin torture. This is... we'll skip over the Iron Maiden later because, like I said, the Iron Maiden is... People are skeptical of its actual use and existence.
Okay.
But it's kind of this. The coffin torture was a when they were locked in an iron cage shaped like a human body, and they were just left there to just be eaten by wildlife or die of dehydration or
hunger,
malnourishment. And then the Iron Maiden that is so famous is the same thing, just lined with spikes. Which was also, if it was real, the Iron Maiden was misconstrued because people thought it was like they slam the door on you and you just bleed out.
Yeah.
But allegedly, if it existed, you would ideally be able to fit into it without being fully impaled by the spikes. So it would just like you just couldn't move, or you were just barely poked by them, so that you would just be alive in there.
So pretty much
acupuncture.
My sex life. Barely poked.
Just felt like every time you take a piss, it burns like razor blades. Let's see. Flaying. This one's pretty this one. Victims had their skin slowly peeled off while still alive.
Oh, that would
blow
me.
Often started with the face to maximize pain. You want to get your face peeled off?
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, it would. The Assyrians used this as psychological warfare, displaying flayed bodies to scare enemies. Game of Thrones also stole this.
Pretty effective, I would imagine that.
Yeah, Game of Thrones stole that too, with Ramses.
Oh, yeah.
His sigil or whatever the fuck was literally the flayed man.
Yeah.
And I was like, you like wieners?
He likes to cut them off and eat them. Well, he didn't. You cut a man's penis off.
You got to eat it.
You don't give him sausage and make him eat it. That's just wrong.
No, you give him sausage and you eat his wiener.
Okay. Yeah, this one's definitely not going to be on fucking YouTube very long.
You're welcome. The wooden horse, ancient Roman medieval Europe, a sharp wooden beam where prisoners were forced to sit naked. Again, there's a repeated there's a repetition of shit impaling your butthole.
Here's the thing. This would be cruel and unusual torture if they did it to us for the people watching. I'm just saying.
They'd be like, oh my God, the fat one. I don't know if you noticed, Margaret. He slid down the pole so fast that his tits defied gravity and flew up and hit him in the face. There's the Iron Maiden. We already went over that. Tyrannitism execution in Italy. Victims were forced to dance nonstop until they collapsed or died.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
That is the most Italian shit I've ever heard.
Oh, fuck.
Dance until you're dead. Keep a dancing. Do the jitterbug.
What if they had no rhythm?
What, they didn't even have any good songs.
I mean,
they didn't even have I can mash potato, I can do the, and there's just, you're listening to that song and people are like, and there's just some guy in the dance floor like and then they're like, it's time to up the torture, and they put on like fucking techno music and he's like, oh no, I'm so tired, please lower the BPM, sir. Please, no, not fire starter. No, anything but that. Can't we have a bit of Toto? The Pair of Anguish.
Oh, it sounds intriguing.
A metal device inserted into the mouth, anus, or vagina.
I'm seeing a theme.
It was then expanded, tearing the victim apart. They would sometimes heat it as well. Yeah. What? It was basically a speculum from hell.
What show was I watching? Oh, I was watching some show. It was on Netflix or something.
It was probably fucking Game of Thrones.
No, it was more modern. You know, they were spies, and they were going to. This man had this device.
I know what you're talking about. I've also seen it.
He would insert it into the penile area.
Sounding. That's what they call that.
Twist it, and spikes would open up. Oh, sorry, shit! I got excited.
Yeah, this extreme sounding. That's actually a thing. That's a fetish.
What show was that? Oh God. Oh fuck! I can think. It was. Oh fuck.
Sorry, I apologize for that. I low key just picked my nose on camera, but I couldn't breathe out of this fucking
fuck it. Nobody's watching it.
It was like killing me because I'm trying so hard not to mouth breathe. And I'm like,
I'm going to. What was that show? No, they were. I forget what they
Mr.
were.
Rogers' Neighborhood.
No. Oh fuck! Fuck! That's gonna piss me off. But in the show, the guy actually got it inserted.
Hot. They're like, "Are you ready for your torture?" Oh God, where were we?
I mean, he come at me at that. I was like, "You're only gonna need about a quarter of that, buddy."
The Republican marriage.
Oh, why we gotta get
from the French Revolution?
Political?
2 prisoners, often a man and a woman, tied together, naked, and drowned. Why is that called the Republican marriage?
I don't know. That's kind of interesting.
It sounds about right. It fits. I would have to say that a lot of the people I know that have been through divorces would probably be Republican leaning. And now they're drowning in debt from their divorce.
Yeah.
And their ex-wife is drowning in dick from Tinder. Blowing from a cannon. This one was cool. I'd never heard of this. This is from colonial India and Central Asia. Victims were tied to a cannon muzzle, and the cannon was then set off, and they were blasted apart.
I know what show it was.
What show?
I can't think of the name. It was about the...
Peppa Pig.
No. It was set in Vegas. It was an elite group. What was the name? And it had, what's his name? C. Thomas Howell, Pony Boy. He was in it. I'd have to look at.
Yeah.
The name of it though.
So you got strapped to the front of a cannon and then they fired it. I'd have to argue that's a pretty gnarly way to go out. I might choose that. There's no way you're surviving. You're literally just going to be instantly eviscerated.
They did this shit in those circus. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Super Dave Osborne, damn it. Nobody listening to this. Probably.
Robbie Knievel. Let's see. Slow slicing. Victim gets cut up into little pieces over a really long time. Probably. Sawhorse torture. Victims were straddled a wooden sawhorse with a sharp edge, and then weights were tied to their legs. Yeah, there's a lot of like cut them from the dick up situations. Pit and stakes, self-explanatory. They did this. I mean, realistically, they did that shit up until fucking the Vietnam War. But they put poop on the sticks.
Them damn Vietnamese.
They did. They called them punji sticks because punji is, I think, Vietnamese for shit.
Rambo did this shit too. Okay, no, that was just. Never mind.
I'll say Rambo did it like a man, though. He didn't smear the poop on his sticks. He just took them and he just up his butt and twisted him around a little bit and pulled him back out.
But that wasn't a hole. He wasn't a pit. He made it to a trap. Where,
oh, yeah, the little swinging thing?
Yeah, the swinging thing.
Let's see. Pina Coulé. Punishment of the sack.
What? Okay, fuck this show. I'm walking off this episode.
Actually, not that bad. Victims sewn into a sack with a dog, rooster, snake, and monkey. And the sack was then thrown into the river. Why?
Well, if it was
why do you have to kill the dog, rooster, snake, and monkey as well?
Wait a minute. They put all those things in the
sack, sewed it up, and then threw it into a river. Why wouldn't you just sew the person into the sack and throw them into the river?
Right.
Who the fuck? Especially because it's like ancient Rome. Knowing where Rome is, you have to go like a little ways to go find a monkey.
Well,
so they're like, we must execute this man. I need you to take the 14-day trip that way and then take the 14-day trip back with a monkey so that we may kill this fuck.
I mean, this is probably back when toward the end of the Roman Empire, you know, when
they're running out of ideas.
And they were liking little kids a lot.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was pretty rampant throughout the Roman Empire.
Or maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there, contrary to popular belief. But this
seems like a waste of resources.
This seems like, you know what?
We're
bored. Let's just throw a bunch of. This is the goulash of fucking execution.
This is the ancient Roman version of what Elon Musk is discovering now.
Oh, true.
They're like, where did all of those Caesar coins go? I had to send Aurelius east to get monkeys for the executions. I told you. Just get rid of the fucking monkeys. I think the dog, rooster, and snake will suffice. Thank you.
I think the
next
snake
point of order.
I mean, what's with
you just Cleopatra that shit.
What kind of evil fuck is that throwing the dog in there?
Right? What kind of dog?
I mean, you throw the dog, put me in a sack with a dog. Guess what? Throw us in there. We'll survive, especially if it's a lab. Come on.
You get a cuddle buddy till death.
We're swimming, buddy.
Tying to 4 trees. This one's cool. The limbs were tied to 4 bent trees, which were then released.
Oh, you are asshole.
Absolutely tearing the body. That is sick. That needs to be put into a fucking TV show or a movie ASAP. That would be visually stunning. That would be the Northern Lights of execution if somebody put it on TV. People would be tuning into that as if they were like they tuned into The Voice this year. They're like, oh shit, did you see Adam Levine on The Voice? Yeah, did you see the guy fucking tied to the trees? If you can't see the forest for the trees, you shall be killed with the trees.
And I guarantee one thing. If you do this in the woods, tie a man to the trees, bent trees, do it in the woods, he's definitely making a fucking noise.
It gives a whole new meaning to the phrase making it rain on these hoes. I think I actually may have seen a movie that they did that in. Elephant stomping.
We've already covered elephant stomping.
Yeah, it was stomping. Exclusively stomping.
Oh, okay.
The Spanish chair, which was a metal chair covered in spikes, which was sometimes heated.
Now, you throw the Spanish tickler in there, and it's a party.
But the sometimes heated part kind of made me like, that would suck even worse.
I don't know. I'd like a warm, cozy feeling when I'm getting spikes.
Especially because like they'd be like, if we went back in time, they'd be like, he'd give him the Spanish chair. I'd be like, bitch, I'm from the future. You know how many times I've eaten Taco Bell and White Castle? That hot chair ain't shit. The torture pole.
Hey, simple.
Which was literally, it was the ancient Mongolian version of impalement. Is literally all it was. I don't know if they let you slide down it, but bamboo torture. From Asia, a victim was tied down over growing bamboo, which slowly impaled them over days.
I've heard of this one. Yeah.
The Mythbusters proved that it was doable, that you could do it.
Oh, did that? I never saw that one.
Yeah, they literally they put it up on the roof for I don't know how long, and it legitimately grew all the way through the fucking ballistic gel dummy.
What they call them? What did they? The name they gave the gel dummy?
Buster.
Buster. Yes.
Why was I able to just pull that out of thin air? Thrown to wild animals, self-explanatory. The lead sprinkler. Molten lead, or this is medieval or Europe, molten lead or acid poured onto the body or into the eyes.
Nice.
Also done on Game of Thrones, yes, but with gold. Shout out Khal Drogo.
Aquaman did it to him.
Yes. The meat hook execution, which was Nazi Germany and the Ottoman Empire. Victims were hung on a meat hook and just left there.
You saying the Nazis stole that from the Ottoman Empire?
Yeah.
Kind of like they did a lot of shit, but that's beside it.
And also, not that we want to go into great detail on all of the details and all the facts, but
we don't.
I would have to say
facts aren't our big thing.
I would have to say that the fact that only one stolen Ottoman Empire torture method by the Nazis made it on this list.
What was it? Was there another one that you know of, or?
Things that you now are known for making pizzas. Fake showers. That's how that's how they got a lot of people into the gas chamber. They would tell them that it was like they were like, you are taking a shower now. You must bathe. You smell. You stink, Jews. And they would fucking gas them while they're in there. I was actually just talking to somebody about fucking Schindler's List. I was like, you gotta watch Schindler's List. It's a must watch. If you don't cry or tear up at the end of Schindler's List, you're not human. You've seen it, haven't you?
It's been so long.
It's not the movie itself when he's like, go, be free. I've done this for you. It's at the end when all of the surviving Jews, Schindler Jews, go to his grave and they're putting the rocks on his grave. It's like a Jewish tradition. And then they pop up that script that says that the lines of descendants of the Schindler Jews represents more Jewish people than like still lived in, like went back and lived in Poland up to that point. And you're just like, he was a good man. Liam Neeson can protect all those Jews, but not one daughter.
One daughter.
You can protect hundreds of Jewish people that are trying to murder and blow up and shit, but you can't keep your goddamn daughter safe for a fucking week in Europe.
No.
Also, stop sending your daughter on trips by herself. That's the first step, you fucking idiot. We've had this conversation. Liam Neeson's just a bad parent.
Yes, he's horrible.
And that's all my notes on Execution. People will be like, not that people listen to this, but if we were popular, people would be like, what about this one? There's a lot.
There is a lot.
If you can think of a way to end a human's life, they've done it. So I just went with the fun one.
My favorite, what didn't make the list, is a more modern way of doing it. Tying somebody to a chair and making them listen to the entire catalog on repeat of Celine Dion.
That bitch.
I mean, I might make it through the second song.
I don't even know if I could tell you more than one Celine Dion song, and it's a Titanic song.
And if you want to make it go even quicker, put a picture in front of you.
That's a face she makes in every picture.
My heart would literally commit suicide.
I think that would just be you committing suicide.
The old ticker would check the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know, but Dragon Force actually made a cover of My Heart Will Go On. It's pretty dope. It's like a speed metal version. It's fucking awesome.
I'm sure it is. I'll take your word for it.
And also, fuck Rose from Titanic.
We know there was enough room on that. It's
not even that.
What? She was a whore.
How many billionaires died in that submarine?
You did this joke a couple weeks ago.
It's not even a joke. It's reality. People died looking for that shit, and she had it the whole fucking time.
I know.
Dirty bitch. Put that hoe in a home.
She was a little bit of a slut. She was a two-time whore.
And she really was. She cheated on Billy Zane.
Yeah.
In a Model T.
Yeah.
Fucking
and let's be honest, wasn't she a little old for Leonardo anyway?
I don't know. He's a time traveler.
I mean, she was a slut.
That's
giving it up easy.
That's one of the conspiracy theories.
What?
There's so many conspiracy theories about like the true meaning behind Titanic. One of them is Jack was a time traveler, which there are legitimate arguments for, but I think it's just discrepancies in writing.
What would even be the purpose of this?
I don't know.
Conspiracy theory.
To warn Rose or something like that, or some shit like that. Something stupid. But there are idiosyncrasies and holes in the storyline that do lead you to believe that. I don't want to say believe that, but for instance, he talks about the lake that he used to fish in and shit like that when he was a kid.
Yeah.
That lake is a man-made lake that didn't even exist when the Titanic sailed.
Maybe that's just lazy writing.
That's what I think. Call me crazy.
Maybe Cameron just, was a bit lazy.
He was too busy building his submarine that he would eventually use to go to the bottom of the ocean.
And just didn't.
Which I don't even think, did that work?
I don't know. And he just didn't do good enough research.
Go figure.
What?
James Cameron presents poorly written Titanic.
There's a bunch of those types conspiracy. Like I did see one the other day that The Notebook was actually a horror movie.
It's like as in because it wasn't as good as everybody says it is.
No, because that guy really wasn't who he said he was. He was just taking advantage of a woman with dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever.
Still a shitty movie.
Oh, it's still a horrible movie. And I had to watch it one time. I was forced to watch it one time.
Gay.
Well, it was by a female. Made me watch it.
Whatever you say.
But there was benefits to watching it. I was
popcorn?
No.
M&M's?
No.
Milk duds in the popcorn?
No. I got paid handsomely for it.
Slut.
Yeah, you know it. If you're going to make me watch that fucking movie, Daddy's getting some. Just saying. But the name will remain nameless. I will not watch movie and kiss and tell. Because I'm not like that.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's how we killed people a bunch of times.
What's your favorite?
I don't know. The speculum from hell is pretty interesting. The thing that they would insert and open up. Yeah. The honey and milk is pretty fun.
Creative, I give it that.
Anything with diarrhea is automatically fun because, it's relatable. I don't know.
I mean, my favorite would be, dancing to death.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would think you'd just pass out first.
You'd think Patrick Swayze would have gone out like that.
No. The sea got him.
Pussy. Kidding. Ow. My shoulder hurts.
But we'll have to say...
I've been drawn and quartered. They tried. I was too strong.
I will have to say the Italians are going to have to step up their game.
Yeah, dance to death. While I eat my veal scallopini.
Obviously, all the cruel and horrible ones came to America and formed the mafia.
But they had morals.
I wonder if the
no women's, no kids.
I wonder if the mafia ever used that tactic. Dance, bitch, dance.
No, they just use garrots.
A different kind of garrote, though. Just a wire.
So, yeah. Death. Death is all around us.
Death is bad.
This is the story of death. This is the origin of death. This is the method of death.
And the moral of this episode is, if you think we're assholes, look into history.
Yeah, and when next time somebody's like, "Oh, lethal injection's so inhumane," is it?
Really?
I find it to be a pretty solid option in comparison to some of the other ones that we've provided in the past. But that's just me.
I mean, and as the Green Mile has taught us, as long as you
take my hands, boss.
As long as you put water on the sponge, it's not that bad. Don't put a dry sponge on, shit's gonna get cooked.
That's how you get punched by Tom Hanks. Why'd you do that?
All right. I don't know what we're doing next week. I haven't come to the decision. I got a couple options.
We'll find out when we do it.
Yeah.
Figure it out live. We'll do it live.
We might go paranormal, or we might do another
spoopy.
Or another type. I'm leaning toward maybe another cryptid type thing. Just one, not. But I don't know. Depends. Or I might do something like.
Wonder which one.
The CIA.
And cryptids.
That other episode, or that other topic I think I mentioned last week about some of the shitty stuff the government has tested on, like your gay bomb. Something similar to that.
Or the bee bomb.
What?
The bee bomb.
The hetero bomb?
No, the bee bomb.
What's the bee bomb?
The bees. Weaponized bees.
It might have something to do with that.
Oh, I know where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Butt stuff.
You can never go wrong with
just
butt
like
stuff.
88% of the ways they killed people over the course of the history of the earth, apparently.
Apparently, you want to kill somebody, just go south of the border. Genitals, vagina, and anus.
Body weight, gravity, and buttholes will equal dead.
Just remember GVA.
Genital, not even V, just GA. Gastrointestinal.
Yes.
Oh, that's GI. Gastro-ass-testinal.
All right, we will be back. We will be back next week. Thanks for everybody who showed up in the chat and watched us live. If you're catching this on your favorite podcast app, be sure to come over to YouTube and
if you're watching it on YouTube
and watch us live,
go to your favorite podcast streaming app.
And if you
take your pick, Spotify, Amazon. We're on Amazon. There's so many apps.
There is.
I didn't even know existed.
And as a bonus, if you hate or you despise the U of tube, you can catch the video on Spotify.
Yes. With ads. But that's not our fault.
Yes.
That's Spotify. They got to pay Joe Rogan.
Daddy's got to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joe Rogan.
A whopping $7 every quarter.
They're like, Spotify's like, well, we could be paying people 4 times as much per ad view, but
I don't think they pay him anymore, do they? I think that
doesn't he get paid every year?
I thought that was up.
I don't know. That one-time payment should do it for just about anybody, I would think.
All right. We will be back next week. Thanks for everybody once again. Don't try these at home unless you want to dance to death.
This is the perfect episode to end with good night, keep your butthole tight. Or else this shit will happen.
And don't, whatever you do, don't go to your sex shop and look for a Spanish tickler.
Oh, puss mitt?
A puss mitt.